Okay, the last one, and talk about skepticism. This is where we face a lot of skepticism too. I think a lot of the applications that we've seen for AI, particularly large language models, have been individuals who are using that to help them write something. But a lot of the startups that are building on large language models are actually building what they call AI agents, which is effectively like an AI that does a whole series of tasks to produce an output without any human involvement at all, as opposed to just being a tool that like helps a human produce that output. And it is definitely possible to start applying this in humanitarian settings. One, I think, really great example is integrated data analysis. So like right now, let's say you wanted to write a humanitarian situation monitoring report about what was going on in health in Ukraine, right? You would take data maybe from a household survey that you did. You would take data from how many cases of specific diseases were reported by the National Health System. Maybe you would take data from web scraping or social media that's providing sort of secondary data about what's going on. And then you as an analyst would be forced to try to reckon with data sets that are highly structured that you're able to query, either in Excel or, if you're more fancy using SQL or Python or R in a cloud environment, and data that was effectively in reports and try to make sense of it. And I think if we're all honest, we've read these reports. Section 1, access to medicines. Paragraph 1, results of the household survey. Paragraph 2, results from the data about how many cholera cases were treated. Paragraph 3, results from the news. I think it would be untrue to really call that an integrated data analysis, right? It's a stovepiped data analysis. You can feed all of that data to an LLM in any format you really need, provided you're able to kind of address some of the limits on tokens. And the AI can analyze that in a fashion that is much more integrated than I think many humans are able to do. And it can now do it and explain itself, which was not true a few months ago, right? It will cite specific references for how it has done this across any of those data sets. And it can do this in a couple minutes. And I'll show you actually at the end of my speech what that looks like. So of course, it can then summarize those results. It can analyze it in accordance with whatever analytical framework you want to train it on. And it can provide an alerting function as well, provided you're able to actually feed it data that is coming in either in real time or on some recurring frequency. If you're looking closely at my slides and I haven't bored you to death, you might say, like, why didn't you write hallucination as the first chapter?